Hello everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Michael Taylor, and it is October 18th. You're watching this day, and I'm all here with Bree.
Thank you for joining me today, Michael.
Absolutely.
Always
she called,
a pleasure
said
to
she
have you
missed
here.
me too much Monday.
I did, I know. Bring so much more energy to the show, right?
Oh, I try. See what we can do.
Well, let's talk about the show. On today's show, we are going to be talking with Newport Beach Film Festival with Joe Wine, talking about 76 Days Adrift. Can you imagine?
That's
Wow,
crazy.
I can't even fathom that. But he has a success story, so you will learn about that if you go see the film. We'll talk about that later. And later on the show, we're going to be talking with Grace Carpenter with Fit Brain Club.
Sounds good. They always have great stuff on that too. Hey, we have an important announcement for you for FEMA. Folks who are looking to donate to FEMA. I know people, when these Hurricane Helene and other disasters, they want to make donations. They want to help survivors of those things.
Today is the day from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. that you can participate in the Quake Heroes Expo Shakeout Drill. So don't miss two events promoting the best practice of earthquake preparedness.
So people can help FEMA. Hurricane Helene, we got another hurricane heading down to Florida. It's going to be there in a day or so. And so people usually want to send, something, teddy bears for kids, water, blankets, things like that. The best thing to do, and I know it seems like not so personal, but it's cash, because what happens is people send those things and they don't have anywhere to warehouse these things. The government FEMA buys these things in bulk, they make major distributions, they have it all in there. So any cash you can bring turns into blankets, turns into water, turns into food, turns into things for children. So make sure you do it that way. The information's on the screen if you want to help folks in the disaster areas.
Yeah, those are necessary items that they actually need.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at our weather while we're out of here, folks. All right. We're getting used to this whole back and forth thing. All right, I'm going to take a look at the weather. Let's take a look outside. It is lots and lots of fog, so we're not even going to show you the picture because our screen is just all white. So this morning we had the fog in the morning, and then it's going to warm up to 82 degrees. Same thing for tomorrow, Wednesday. More fog in the morning, clearing to mostly sunny skies, and then sunny and cooler a little bit on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Much nicer, very fall-like temperatures by the time we get to Saturday. So just a little more of these kind of spring, summerish type weather, and then we're going to head into a nice fall weekend.
Well, hopefully as the temperatures drop, the fog will dissipate and go away.
Yes.
I tell you what,
Yes,
driving early in the morning, I can see maybe 100 feet ahead of me. So we'll be looking forward to that fog lifting. This morning, the sunrise was at 6:50 a.m., and tonight it will set at 6:25. That's a great photo from Stephanie Casey. She took that at San Miguel Archangel Mission. Beautiful, Stacy. Thank you for sending that photo. If you'd like to send us your photos to be featured on our Sunrise Sunset segment, please email them to us at lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Please include your name, where you took the beautiful photo, and in a horizontal format, please.
All right, folks, we're going to take a look at one of the meetings we have for today, and then when we come back, Bree's going to be on a Zoom, and she's going to be talking to folks from 76 Days Adrift. It's going to be featured at the Newport Beach Film Festival. Stay with us.
At Adapt to It, we strive to make the everyday tasks easier by providing our customers with the tools they need to be successful. We carefully explain the use and care of all of our equipment. Adapt to It has been in Laguna Woods for over 20 years, and we know that nothing in life stays constant. So we can help you adapt to all the changes in your life. Adapt to It sells and rents items and always delivers with a smile. Come in today to experience what we mean when we say, when you can't change it, adapt to it.
Can you imagine being 76 days adrift at sea? I personally can't, but here to tell us all about one man's extraordinary survival story from the Newport Beach Film Festival, we welcome Joe Wine. Welcome to the show.
Hi, pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for joining
Thanks
us.
for having me. Yeah. So, Joe, how did you tell us how you first became aware of Stephen Callahan's incredible story? And then what inspired you to create a documentary about it?
He wrote a book. He wrote a book called Adrift, 76 Days Lost at Sea. It was a New York Times bestseller and a wonderful book. I was unaware of the book, actually. I came across it at a used bookstore. I just grabbed it with a bunch of other stuff. It seemed interesting, not the kind of thing I normally would read, but I was intrigued and then I was really surprised just how well written the book was and how engaging and how sort of connected I felt to his circumstance and how he dealt with it. And I was very impressed with how he handled himself. Um, in terms of how I ended up making it into a documentary, or even why, at first I just recommended the book to a lot of people. It was like this is more than like a sailor book. This is just an excellent book that I think is really relatable. Um, and then years later, I was rewatching Life of Pi with my kids, who were a little older then, and I was noticing some similarities actually, even while watching the movie. It made me think of the book in different parts of it. It's such a beautiful film. And at the end, I saw Steven's name in the credits. He was a consultant on that film, and I think that's when I really realized he is just still around and active, and that story really had stuck with me. And I had an approach. I had a kind of a unique approach for how to make it into a documentary. So that's when I started to actively pursue it and reach out to him.
So it really sounds like he resonates with you on a
Oh
couple
yeah,
levels.
yeah. Trying to make these films, it's really hard. It takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, and there's no real certainty of what the upside will be. You just have to. It definitely comes from a place of just being a meaningful story that you want to share and think other people will connect to. Just if I connect to it, I think other people will. Um, and I've written a bunch of stuff, and I've made a bunch of like short films and documentaries, music videos, and branded commercials and that kind of stuff. Um, and I saw an opportunity here to share a full feature film and one that I cared about and that I thought might connect with other people.
So filming at sea had to have created challenges trying to recreate the
Yeah.
events that had happened. I can't even imagine how unique of an experience that must have been. What were some of the most memorable or challenging moments during that process?
Yeah, the whole process was challenging. I mean, much like Stephen in the boat. I mean, it is a metaphor for everything. Like it really was like, okay, how do I do the big problem was getting this made into a movie, and the small problem is, okay, how do I get to the next step of that? And it was from the interview to editing it to yeah, I always had an idea for how I wanted this to happen. Getting the money was constantly an issue, so I'm raising funds. And then yeah, and then I was trying to figure out how to, actually make the water work. I made up my own rig. Getting the original raft, I had to get the right raft, I had to get the right equipment, I had to get all the exact stuff he had, which really came together through enormous support from the sailing community to help get this movie made. And I just kept putting the word out there, and things just kept popping up. And I found things on eBay, and Stephen was very involved in that process and making sure that this was the exact item and that this was right. And then Rich at Gold Coast Yachts, St. Croix was amazing, and Roger was amazing in St. Croix, and we went out to the Virgin Islands. I shipped everything over there. and we filmed for about 2 weeks in the Virgin Islands. They basically drove me out on a boat and let the raft go. And I had rigged up a camera setup for how I was going to do this. I'd staged everything in my garage, so sort of, I had it all sort of choreographed in my shot list and all my equipment and mics to mic the raft and, just all the stuff. And then, yeah, actually being out on the water, and then we were there. We had, the raft gets a hole in it at one point. I mean, things
Oh,
happen, all this stuff happens. It's an incredible story. I mean, shark attacks at different places. So I mean, it really is an amazing storms, and all the stuff that we had these different ways of solving
and this is
in terms of
all
how to shoot it. But
sorry, this was all while
say that again, sorry.
this was all while you were shooting, is that correct?
But these are things that happen in the story and things we had to make happen
Create.
visually. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, while we were out there, there was also different weather and different, sometimes the waves were rough. And in terms of sharks, I mean, I knew I was going to be mixing VFX to make the sharks, but shooting at night and all that kind of stuff. And we really shot at night. We really were on the raft. We really, I brought actually a second raft that we really deflated. So I was sinking in the raft at night and,
Oh my goodness.
and I'm really dealing with different stuff and I'm weighted with all this camera equipment. And really when I'm throwing stuff in there, they're like, be careful because you're chumming the water. It really was like a little bit nerve wracking. And there were parts where the water was 3,000 feet deep below me. And I could kind of feel that sense of like, it being like someplace high, just like it's
Wow.
just so deep. But I was also super focused on what I was shooting, which made it a lot easier. And then, I had Roger was the who drove the raft, was just a real pro and really made it all doable. And then Stephen came with me too, and he dressed everything. So as the raft morphed and changed, and he's got certain items, and he has to like make choices about, if I break this item, this is now gone. Whatever I have on this raft, I'm in the middle of nowhere in the ocean, and I have these 25 things to work with to make this possible. How am I going to eat, drink, do everything? And then sometimes if there's an issue, you've got to make a choice of if you're going to break it, if I'm going to try to turn these two things into something else. And then you can't go back from that. You can't ever go to a store and get something new, So
Right.
when we're building all this, Stephen was there to re-rig the raft, re-rig the items and all that so that everything was accurate with the story.
Yeah.
And you have to shoot it chronologically because things really deteriorate. All the items really did fall apart and rust and break, and so I couldn't go back and pick up stuff. I had to shoot it in
Yeah, I won't give anything away, but I did see in the trailer how he had somehow secured almost like a steak knife looking
Yes.
knife to a long stick. I couldn't really tell what it was, but
Yeah,
yeah, he had to get very creative, didn't he? What was his reaction to seeing your finished documentary?
yeah. Well, he's been incredibly supportive of the film, which is fortunate. You don't know going in. I didn't know him when we started this, and you don't know if we're necessarily going to get along or not, or how that's going to work, and that's certainly not always even the goal of a documentary. But he's definitely, I consider him a close friend now, and he's been super supportive of all of this and helping. He's been an active executive producer in terms of helping this actually happen. I think when he first saw it, I think he was definitely like a little bit to digest it. Like it was a lot. I think even when he was out on the water, seeing the actual raft we were on the actual water where he arrived, we were in the right place, the right stuff. We had all the right things. And I think there was definitely a little bit of just kind of like, this is, like, this is crazy. And the flashbacks, and yeah, I think he had an experience watching it. And
I would
and
assume
now he's
that
seen it several
he
times.
probably had a little bit of post-traumatic stress disorder, seeing that, being there, reliving it. Did that seem to bother his psyche at all, or did he feel more empowered since now he's in control?
It's interesting because we were talking to different psychologists and that kind of thing. And originally, there were before we talked to different people in the medical field and that kind of stuff, which is not the approach I wanted to take with this. But in talking about it, they talk about post-traumatic stress disorder, but there was also I forgot how they worded it, but some people handle stress in different ways. Not everybody, Stephen happened to be someone, he's an experienced guy, but he also handled the situation. He just turned on, like some people just go, okay, well, I'm going to die here, and it's like, he was freaked out, but it was like, he went into this mode of, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And, like even that first night when I'm reading it, it was like, okay, I would have been dead already. I wouldn't have made it past day one personally, and he did, and he really kept this. He cracked a bunch of ways and he made a ton of mistakes, but he really kept his discipline and was very thoughtful about it and was always trying to solve, constantly moving toward problems. So I think even when he saw it again, I don't know about post-traumatic stress disorder. I think he definitely had an experience seeing it again. I think it was just like taken aback. But he sails again and he goes out on boats again. So it's not like he's afraid of the water or anything. He had an experience.
Wow.
Sure.
Well, we are certainly glad that he managed to survive those unconscionable situations. I can't even imagine. And I, for one, am definitely going to get my ticket to go see this film.
Oh, great.
Very much looking forward to it. I love happy endings and documentaries. So thank you for putting that together for everyone to enjoy.
My pleasure.
From the Newport Beach Film Festival, Joe Wine, thank you so much for joining us. You're watching This Day on Village Television. We will be right back.
For 25 years, the Newport Beach Film Festival, one of the nation's most celebrated international film events, has become a pivotal stop on the awards circuit.
Hi, I'm Mark Ronson.
Kate Beckinsale.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Excited to be here at the Newport Beach Film Festival.
I'm in Newport Beach.
I'm in Newport Beach.
Are you retired or almost retired, but worried? Worried about inflation, today's unstable markets, worried about your investments, wondering if you could count on them to provide the income you need as long as you need it? Well, stop worrying and rest easy, knowing there is a better, smarter way to invest once you're retired or getting close to it. A way strategically designed to protect your principal and generate lifelong income regardless of market conditions. Learn more today by calling Pacific Financial Planners, your source for a stress-free retirement.
Join the Fit Brain Club at their monthly meetings to learn about healthy aging and more. Here to tell us about this month's meeting from the Fit Brain Club, we welcome Grace Carpenter.
Hi, Bree.
Hi.
Morning, Michael.
Good morning.
Thank
Welcome
you
to the
for
show.
having me and for wanting to know more about our club.
Absolutely. I think we're going to start off with something that's really important. And we'd like to know, what is the difference between advanced care and advanced care directive and POLST?
Okay.
POLST.
And that's what Christina Magano, our speaker,
at your meeting this month,
we
right?
have an attorney that we're just very excited about.
That's amazing.
Because that's the essential question, right? They're both voluntary, the POLST and the Advanced Care Directive. Every adult should have an advanced care directive. Even if you go to the emergency, the first thing they say to you now is, do you have your advanced care directive? Mm-hmm. But the POLST is for more seriously ill people, more end of life, and it wasn't always that way. I had a physician, a wonderful Dr. Ho, out in most of the community went to him back in the day. And he was retiring, and the Polst had just come out. So he gave all of us, and we were rather young, and we're looking at all of this because the Polst contains all the end-of-life measures. It's a medical document signed by a physician. So before he retired, he wanted to be sure that we had this signed. Now it's changed. Mostly it's given in the hospital, and of course it requires a doctor's or a nurse's signature, and a medical professional, because it's a medical document. In the Polst, you have medical orders. In the Advanced Care Directive, we have our own wishes. And that's why people tend to do it when they do their trust. I don't know why they wait that long. Even if we have daughters, children going to foreign countries, we don't know what they're going to encounter, and we don't like to have uncomfortable conversations with anybody. So we tend not to bring something like that up. Well, what if they get in an accident when they're there and they don't have an advanced care directive? No matter how young they are, we need to protect ourselves, and this is what each of us can do to protect ourselves. So I know that Christina will be really honing in on the differences between those two. So don't put in the Advanced Care Directive, because people tend to do them with their trust. They tend to put them in a file cabinet, and so
then the ambulance comes and you
yeah,
don't have it.
so we have this wonderful, I don't think I brought it, end of life with a magnet on the back. You put it on your refrigerator, and what you do is you make a copy of your Advanced Care Directive, and you put it in this little yellow. Actually, Memorial Care gave them to us when they spoke a few months ago, and now we keep them for everybody, so we can hand them out at meetings for newcomers. If you haven't done your Advanced Care Directive, please, and then copy it, put it in, and put it with this magnet on your refrigerator, because then when people come in, because you might not have the Polst done already.
Right.
So
Should people consider these documents kind of a living, breathing thing, something you update regularly, check in on, make sure other people know about them? Even family members should have copies of them?
Yes. My daughter just said that to me yesterday when she was going over my trust, because I'm going to have a trust meeting, like an update of my trust today. And she said, Mom, we need to have copies of all of this. I said, when I did my trust, I gave you all a copy of it. Have you ever read it?
Oh, oops.
Because that's what they think you're young, and they don't think, this. So this is, the holidays are coming, and this is why we chose this month to have Christina come. This is when we can have the difficult conversations. Dear friend and Vice President of Alzheimer's taught me this saying that the way she broke it to her children. She said, we're going to have this difficult conversation because we're all going to be here for Thanksgiving, but there's no pie before we discuss how I want to die.
Oh my goodness.
Now, that's pretty shocking.
People have been killed over just that.
But it's so true. We have to face these realities. And
there's never a good
way.
time,
I
right?
know.
You just have to carve it out and make it. It's going to happen to all of us.
That's
so
right.
why not talk about it, get the affairs in order before panic sets in.
Exactly, exactly. And so that's the legality is the difference between the medical model of the Polst, and in some states it's called the MOLS. They just call it medical because it's an acronym. Both of the acronym.
Sure.
Physician's Orders for Life-Sustaining Treatment is the Polst. And so with the MOLST, it's medical orders for life. But they're the same document in whatever state you're in. However, that is legal and binding. Our wishes are more flexible. We can change them at any time with the Advanced Care Directive.
Those are things that we can adjust to make happen. Well, it's October 14th. It's going to be legal and financial planning. Christina, say her last name for me. McGonigal, there we go. She's an attorney at law. And it's the event's going to be over at Clubhouse 3, Performing Arts Center, Dining Room 2. Grace Carpenter, Fit Brain Club, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you both so much.
That's great information. And when we come back, we have a couple announcements for you. Stay with us.
Hearing connects you back to life. Don't settle for being trapped in the isolation of poor hearing. Advanced Ear can help you hear friends, family, and caregivers. We provide one-on-one hearing programs that will amaze you with the quality of how much better you can hear. There's no cost to hear the improvement we deliver. You'll be able to hear better the minute you put these on. No buttons to push or technology to be afraid of? We deliver better hearing, guaranteed. Come in so we can connect you back to life. And remember, tell them Stuart sent you.
Welcome to the Artistry, South Orange County's only cannabis dispensary located right here in Laguna Woods. The Artistry is your trusted source for the highest quality cannabis products and the best customer service. We offer daily deals up to 50% off on top brands. Whether you're new to cannabis or a seasoned consumer, our friendly and informative staff is here to help you elevate in style. We're located next to Gate 3 and now offer delivery right to your door. Join us for a one-of-a-kind dispensary experience.
At Motion Drip, we believe in proactive wellness. Our IV therapy is designed to give you the well-being you deserve. With increased vitamin absorption directly into your bloodstream, it will replenish your body with hydration and nutrients to support your body's functions, increase energy levels, slow signs of aging, improve muscle recovery, and boost stamina. We are located right outside of Gate 8 on Moulton Parkway. Give us a call or visit our website to schedule your appointment today, as we will be your proactive partner in wellness.
All right, folks, we got a couple things to tell you about, and you know what happens sometimes in this world? Sun flares. It's a big universe, and these things happen. And what happens also is some of our TV customers may experience a little bit of a challenge to some degree watching their television due to the sun outages and the sun flares. So if that happens, it usually is brief when it occurs, and it passes, it's when the flare kind of passes directly behind the satellite, it messes up the transmission somehow. But if it does happen, know that that's probably what's going on. If it happens a little longer than that, or longer than expected, more than a few minutes, then go ahead and call the number on your screen, 949-837-2670. We're always here to help and lend a hand for those sun flares, which is active right now. That's why we're making this announcement.
Okay, yeah. I had a Zoom meeting yesterday, and the sun flare was very intense on the screen. Is that the same thing?
It's not the same thing.
Mickey needs to be
Dolenz.
announced. So.
Oh, sure.
Here we go, folks. Friday, October 11th. It's creeping up on us. We've been talking about this for a couple of months, so super excited that it's actually arriving. Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees. He's going to be at the Performing Arts Center at 7:30 p.m. on the 11th. So get your tickets for that. I know it's selling out.
Yep. Hey, we're the Monkees.
Okay.
I remember watching those when I was a kid on reruns. I wasn't old enough to watch the original, but I'm not that old. But
I've never seen it.
They were fun. All right, let's talk weather. And then we got some great clouds out there. Oh, hey, it's starting to clear up. We can actually see the trees across the street now. It was all white before earlier. So if you're watching the 9 a.m. show, you know the fog's still out there, but it is lifting. We got temperatures in the low 80s to high 70s for the rest of the week. And then on Saturday, a little bit cooler. So
wonderful.
Nice.
Okay, well, we'll enjoy this end of summer temperatures. All right, folks, that's going to do it for us here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Michael, for coming.
Absolutely.
And from all of us here at This Day, we hope you make yours a beautiful one. See you tomorrow.
Pacific Cremation Services offers you the ultimate freedom to become one with the salty breezes and brilliant sunset reflections. A scattering at sea is a unique, beautiful way to honor the life of anyone who chooses to be cremated. We help you plan the details and understand what to expect. Choose from our 3 simple plans and let us help you start the process of healing and life celebration. Contact us at pacificcremationservices.com to create a personalized service at sea today.